Women with invisible illnesses realize you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, to put it mildly. But the time is going to pass regardless. Really, what else are you going to do? You got to make the best of it. If feeling sorry for yourself would have cured this crap, I'd have been over it a long time ago. But when I wasted all that time feeling sorry for myself and being depressed, guess what? My symptoms were worse. I even have more health issues now than I did then, but because my attitude is good, because I choose to have a positive attitude, it makes the pain easier to deal with. It just does. Did I tell you guys I'm on a quest to start wearing more colors. I am kind of prone to depression, if I'm really honest. And I realized I've worn almost nothing but black and gray in a while. So I went and bought this shirt today, and it fades down, it ombres down into a really pretty dark pink. I gotta tell you, I feel really, really weird wearing yellow, but it is bright, so it does meet the criteria. But yeah, I wish the colors were reversed, to be honest, because I think I would like the reddish pinkish colors more up by my face. But anyway, that was totally off a wow, sorry, that was definitely on a tangent. But we all have bad habits. I got to tell you, I've bad habits. I mean, a lot of this stuff's my default. Toxic thinking is my default. Honestly, not being the happiest person. I choose to be happy. I really make an effort to be happy. It's not my natural state of mind. I can actually this surprises people. I can be really cynical, and I can be very anyway. Anyway. I need to get back to being more positive. I need to get back on track. I cannot control things that happen around me. All I can learn to control is how I choose to respond to them. And you know what helps? If you get rid of a lot of your crappy habits. This information, by the way, is from lifehack.org. So, the first really toxic habit that you need to drop, like now, quit dwelling on the past. You don't live there. You don't live there anymore. And there is absolutely nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. It is over. It's unchangeable. You've got to find a way to come to peace with all of that and let it go. Now, if somebody else wronged you, it's hard to let that go. I get it. But when you choose not to, you're just giving that jackass power over you. And why would you do that? They ain't worth that. There's a saying, I'm going to screw this up, I bet, but there's a saying, I really like it. And it says there's a reason why our rear view mirror is so small and our windshield is so big, because where we're going is far more important than where we've been. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of things in my past I'm not proud of, to put it very mildly, but I don't regret much of it. I'm not going to say I never have my regrets, but I really don't regret it very much anymore. Why? Because I know I wouldn't be the person that I am today without all of those experiences, even the freaking horrible ones, even the ones that frankly have cost me a lot of sleep over the years. But all of your experiences make you who you are today. You know what's really cool? If you don't like who you are, you can change it. It's not easy, but you can change it. And a good way to start is by getting rid of toxic habits. Number 2, I'm bad at this. I'm really bad at this because I tend to see people how I want to see them instead of for who they truly are, which is really unfair of me. It puts a burden on them that they never asked for. And then I'm inevitably disappointed because they're not who I wanted them to be, which, I mean, it's so stupid, isn't it? To hear it out loud, it really is, but I still do it. But you know what? You don't need negative Nellies in your life. If all they do is pull you down, you need to cut them gently, cut them out of your life. And if you can't do that, you're going to have to seriously limit your interactions with that person. And You're going to have to set and stand by some pretty firm boundaries. It's not going to be easy. But your choice is to do that and find a way to make the situation tolerable, or to keep getting really upset when you're around that person. Have them keep whatever it is they do that you feel is disrespectful. You got to set your boundaries with that. I used to work with this lady, and man, she was difficult. She was really difficult, like notoriously difficult. Like no one wanted to deal with her because she was just ugly. But she really had an incredible eye for detail. And I'll be honest, I can be very detail oriented, but when I am doing the same form like 10 or 15 times with minor changes, yes, sometimes I get a little sloppy. I will own that because I get hurried. I just want to get it done. I'm paid by the hour. Let's get this done and move on to the next thing. And one day I couldn't completely cut her out of my life. I severely curtailed my interactions with her and I set boundaries. But I was walking over to her office one day and I'm in my head, oh my gosh, and it's going to suck and she's going to do this and she's going to do that and it's going to just be horrible. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, why am I giving her this power over me? I can't. So I started telling myself for the rest of the walk, she has an eye for detail that I don't. So when I got there, I was in a much better state of mind. Still wasn't happy to deal with her, but I was in a better state of mind. So when she started on me, because she wasn't the kind who could just say, hey, you made a mistake. No problem. I'll go take care of it. You'll get the corrected copy in a moment. She always had to call you on the carpet. So she starts to call me on the carpet and I held up my hand and I said, do you know what? That's fine. I appreciate you pointing out that I made a mistake and I am more than happy to fix it. So I'm going to go back to my office and I'll take care of this right now. And it just didn't let her get started. That was my boundary. I wouldn't let her start. And I got to tell you, it pissed her off because there was a lot of times, especially if I'd go into there was a lot of other people in that office suite with her. And if I would go in there and no one else was around, she'd really try to push my buttons and, well, you did this and you did that. And then that was wrong. Like, okay, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to fix it. I refused to engage with her. That was the boundary I set. I had to stick with it because she wasn't going to. When it comes to dealing with other people, you should have a really simple litmus test. Do they lift you up? If they don't, why are you wasting your time on them? You don't need their crap. People who don't lift you up, they're just an anchor. Cut the rope, move on, find better people to spend your time with. They're out there, I promise. Number 3, toxic habit we really need to drop, because I do this. Stop making excuses. Excuses, it's just lies that you tell yourself. It's your scared ego. You're hiding behind this wall of BS that you've erected. It's just fear. It's just fear, but what are you really afraid of? Truly, what are we afraid of? Most of the time we're afraid of our poor little fragile ego getting bruised. But you're going to get embarrassed. You're going to fail. You're going to sometimes make a fool of yourself. That's life. You can't get away from that stuff. So you can't, if there's something that you want to do, go do it. Quit hiding behind your excuses. Because at the end of the day, you can lie to yourself all you want, but when you lay down at night and when you get, or whenever you get a quiet moment, it's in the back of your head that you're full of crap. So you may as well, what is it? Face everything and rise, or face everything and no, face everything and rise, or I don't remember what the other was, something and run. Why not rise to the occasion? Why not rise to the occasion and you'll surprise yourself. 90% of the time, you're going to blow your mind with what you're capable of. Number 4, toxic habit you need to drop. Quit trying to fit in. Quit trying to fit in, because you know what? The people who are truly worth fitting in with, you don't have to try. You're just going to fit in. Excuse me. I used to really hide the fact that I love skulls. I am really into skulls. I I make no apologies. Y'all, I'm the easiest person in the world to buy for. Just something with a skull. I'm happy. But I hid it for a long time. So I was like, what kind of person at my age is so into this? But, I am. I like them. And it's been fun because once I embrace that, there's a lot of other people out there who are also really into it. But B, with a lot of my friends, it's deepened our friendship because they're into that kind of stuff too, or they've got their own weird little quirks that I can respect. But if you think I'm weird for that, there's a lot more weird crap about me than that. But don't try to fit in. Be you. Be you, and the people who are you're supposed to spend your time with, the people who are the most like you, they're going to find you. It's hard. It takes time, but they'll find you. I promise. But don't try to fit in. Don't try to fit in because it makes you fake, and nobody likes to be around fake people. We all know how you don't like anybody who's insincere. Just be patient. But you also have to do a little work. Seek it out, Go join clubs where you can find people with shared interests. I don't know, go to a craft class or a cooking class, or go get involved in your community. Go out where you can find people who share similar interests to you, because they're probably going to share some similar values to you. And those are the people that you want to spend your time with. And the right people, they're going to accept you for who you are. Number 5. Oh, if this was a gold medal event, I would be world freaking champion. You need to stop beating yourself up. It is the most freaking pointless thing. If you don't like where you're at, take responsibility, pull your shit together and fix it. Is it easy? No. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is. I've been working on it for a while, and I can guarantee you my shit is still not together. But you know what? I've come a really long way. And where would I be if I hadn't been working on it? I probably wouldn't be a positive, happy person. I mean, I have my moments. I've been in a funk for a while. I really have. I've been in a pretty bad funk, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I put on a bright colored shirt yesterday and realized I haven't worn a bright color in a really long time. But you can't beat yourself up. It's pointless. Fix what you're unhappy with. If it's something you can't fix, then you know what? You are just going to have to find a way to live with it. And we all have to find ways to live with things that we're not crazy about. That's life. Not everything's going to go your way. It's not the things that happen to you that really matter. It's how you choose to respond to the things that happen. It's how you choose to face the world. And if you're beating yourself up, you know what? That just puts you out there. You're putting yourself out there in a negative and vulnerable space, and people are going to take advantage of that. You owe yourself more than that. You really should. If you're struggling really bad with your self-esteem, I highly encourage you to get a hold of some of your close friends and just ask them. Just ask them. What do you see in me? What do you think are my better qualities? And write that stuff down, so that when you start beating yourself up, you can look at that list and you can start to see yourself with the same grace and the same respect that your friends and your loved ones see you with. Number 6 bad habit that you really need to break: lousy sleep habits. I got to tell you, this one pisses me off because I was finally getting a grip on my sleep habits. And then a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, I had like a massive anxiety meltdown. I haven't had anxiety like that in years. Didn't miss it. It was freaking horrible. I would lay awake at night and just churn and churn and churn. And all the techniques that I've learned over the years, none of them would work. None of them. And it was funny because I remember many nights, because this went on about 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, I had probably 6 nights where I got less than 4 hours of sleep. I am too old for that. But I would lay there and my mind would just churn and churn and churn. And I would try all these techniques that I've learned that have always been really good for me. I'll try this and calm my mind. No. And I actually remember one night laying there and thinking, I'm the only one who can stop this. And then another that the anxiety voice in my head was like, tough shit, you ain't gonna stop it. So it was just kind of, this is what we're doing right now. But that really tore up my sleep habits. And I'd been getting so much better. Sleep deprivation specifically has a tremendous impact on everything that you do. You want to make your day a lot harder tomorrow? Don't get enough sleep tonight. It doesn't matter how easy your day is tomorrow, it's going to be harder if you're sleep deprived. You should keep your room cool, dark, and quiet, and no electronics for at least 30 minutes prior to bed. Now, I actually talked to a counselor about this because I was like, well, hold up. I like to use my phone to pull up something on Audible or to go find a meditation track on YouTube. And I said, so what about that? Is that, and he said, well, yeah, that's very different. You're on there with a purpose. You're not just scrolling, but don't be scrolling mindlessly for at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. Why? Because the blue light that emits from your screen it interrupts your circadian rhythm. It makes it harder for you to sleep. Number 7, toxic ass habit that you need to drop. Quit letting fear run your life. You got to. Come on. Most of the doomsday fantasy BS that you concoct in your head, it never comes to pass. You got to live. You've got to get out. You have one shot at this life. You've got to go out and live it to the best of your ability. And if you've got really serious issues and you're sitting there thinking, screw you, lady, you don't get it. Well, I probably get it a lot more than you think I do, because frankly, I spent many years being very suicidal. Why? Because I couldn't find a way. Let me restate that. I didn't have this skill set to learn how to cope with my health issues. And all I did was sit here and feel sorry for myself, and I couldn't see anything bright in my future. All I could see in my future was doctor's appointment after doctor's appointment, and take this medication and take that medication. I didn't want to live like that. But I had to make that choice to live and to not sit there and worry. You know what? If I don't want to live like that in the future, then I needed to pull my head out and get my shit together now, because what you do today is going to impact. You don't like what you see coming down the road, adjust your course now so that you don't have to head that way. If you have a lot of really serious mental health issues, please get some help. There's so much help available these days. There's no need for you to suffer. Number 8, I'm really bad with this one too, but it's a terrible habit for you to keep old, unusable stuff. Clutter impacts our ability to think. It impacts your ability to relax. If you don't use something, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Why are you keeping it? Look, if it's something that's useful, but you're not using it, why don't you donate it so that someone who's less fortunate than you are can have that useful item? And you know what? They'll probably actually use it. There's somebody out in your community who probably needs that thing. So donate it. Give that stuff away. If it's something that's really sentimental, but you're not using it, take pictures of it. That picture is going to be all you need to jar your memory. You could even a photo print would be a lot smaller than most objects that we drag around. You could make a photo collage of different things that mean a lot to you, but don't keep a bunch of old unusable crap. And don't take your old crap that you're not using and dump it on your sister or your friend or your brother or whoever. Now, you can ask them if there's anything out of your stuff that they would like to have. But if you take your box of crap over and dump it on a loved one, all you've done is made it their problem. So don't do that. I like to donate. So if it's really valuable, sure, you could sell it. But for general day-to-day household stuff, I love to donate. It makes me feel good to know that somebody who doesn't have that item, now they do. I just think that's a good feeling. And finally, the 9th, and honestly, one of the most, these are all really important, but I think this would be a good place to start. Stop comparing yourself to other people. First of all, it's wildly inaccurate. You have no idea. You don't have any idea what goes on behind closed doors. All you know is what you see. All we know about other people is what they choose to show us. So don't sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, they are so lucky." Well, you know what? Maybe on the surface, but maybe they're in an unhappy marriage. Maybe they have a really bad relationship with their parents or their siblings, or you don't know. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. If you like Look, if you're looking at somebody's life and you're like, "Whoo, I want that." Well, guess what? Success leaves a trail. You can figure out at least the basics of how somebody got from point A to point B, and you can figure it out for yourself. You've got a trail there. You'll have to fill it in and turn it into your own path, obviously. But success leaves a trail. Don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself, and sure as hell don't sit there and be envious of what somebody else has. That's so toxic. When you're envious of if you can't be happy for someone else's success, you you're showing that you don't think that there's enough in the world out there. But you know what? There is. There's plenty of success. There's plenty of money. There's plenty of whatever you want to define success as. There's a lot of it in the world. So don't be envious. Don't be petty. Be genuinely happy. And you know what? Hey, I really like that new car. You can start asking questions. How much did it cost you? What kind of payment plan do you have? If that's what you want, if that new car is what you want, figure out how they got there and do it. I mean, really, it's that simple and that complicated at the same time. But you know what? When you compare yourself to other people, you're losing. You're always losing that battle because, again, you have no idea what you're talking about. You just don't. And usually you're looking at their like chapter 40 and you're on like chapter 3. Well, of course you're going to come up short. How could you not? That's just that's just the way it goes. If you have to compare yourself to someone else, if you just can't stand it, then you need to compare yourself to someone who is less fortunate than you are. Why? Because it'll help you remember to be grateful for the good things that you have in your life. And you have a lot more good things in your life than you think you do. We just we take a lot of it for granted. We get, we just, we take things for granted. We don't appreciate a lot of our blessings. Should be grateful. Anyway, that is all I have for tonight. I gotta tell you guys, I feel a little bit better today. As I don't even know what to say about this. So Friday, last Wednesday, I called in. I think I mentioned this the other day. Last Wednesday, I called my clinic and I was like, "Hey, look, I'm really struggled with anxiety. It's been over a week. I can't sleep. I need some anti-anxiety meds." And I was like, "Okay, we'll pass the message along." Thursday or Wednesday afternoon comes and goes, nothing. All day Thursday comes and goes, nothing. Friday morning, nothing. Well, I was meeting with my boss for lunch Friday, and as I'm driving into town, I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Because what am I going to do? Because if I call again, then it's, oh, what do you need these drugs? I mean, we've gone so far the other direction. We went from just, oh, you stubbed your toe, here's 30 Percocet. Now it's like, we don't give a damn that you have anxiety issues and chronic pain. You don't get nothing. Not quite that bad, but it's pretty close. And I've been around and around with my clinic before, and I've told my doctor, it's dehumanizing, it's degrading, and it's just a bunch of crap. For goodness sakes, they know me. I should be allowed to be judged on my own merits, but I'm not. So anyway, so I was like Friday, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Do I say anything? Do I just let it ride and see, but it didn't want to go all weekend. Like, I didn't know what to do. Well, right as I pulled into the restaurant, guess who called? The clinic. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And they say, hey, your refill request has been approved. And I was so excited. And I really expected to get she's like, we're gonna call it in. So I'm waiting for the pharmacy. And I'm waiting and waiting and I'm waiting. Well, I figured after, I mean, the pharmacy's open till 9, but I figured after about 6 o'clock Friday night, it's like, okay, this will not be forthcoming today. So I thought, well, maybe they got it called in late and surely it'll be ready tomorrow. Nope, nothing. All day Saturday, nothing. I was not happy. I didn't, honestly, I thought I did. I'm sorry, TVC. I blame my clinic. I was like, those bastards, they didn't call it in. And I blame my clinic based on the way that I've dealt with I shouldn't say the way I've dealt with the attitude that I've gotten from a lot of the office staff. I just assumed they didn't call it in. But I do owe them an apology, even though I never said anything to them. I do owe them an apology because I got a text message yesterday. Hey, we have your meds. So I went over and it just all I needed was just enough to take the edge off. And that's what I got. And I feel much better. I didn't get a whole lot more sleep last night, but I don't feel like I'm about to run and jump out the window. So I'm grateful for that. But that's all I have for tonight. I hope you all have a great evening. Look, I'm not an expert. All I know is I used to be severely depressed and very bitchy and bitter. People would probably say I'm still bitchy, but I am known for someone as good Lord, I am known as having a really positive attitude. And if I can make this change, anybody can. So if you have any questions about this kind of stuff, or if you're dealing with health issues, please drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I try to be very responsive. And, I do this stuff because when I was first diagnosed, I didn't have a real positive person to look to. I didn't find anybody who said, okay, this is where you're at. Yeah, it sucks, but here's what you can do to help yourself. All I was finding, and I don't mean this as a slam to anybody, I don't, because I was in the same boat at the time, but all I was finding was, oh, my life sucks, and oh, poor pitiful Pearl, and oh, poor me. And I realized pretty quickly, I don't want to do that. And that's why I do these videos, because you don't got to live like that. And if you're struggling with that stuff, drop me a line. I know I can help you. Anyway, you guys have a great night. I will be back Wednesday at 5 o'clock Alaska time. Good night.